Uh, I like the concept of the new arena. I just feel like right now, my biggest issue with arena right now is how essential it is for testing power of builds. Right now, like for instance in PoE, right? You would have builds that are good at boss killing. You would have builds that are good at doing, maps. You would have builds that are good at doing delving, right? Whether that be deep delving or low, darkness delving. You'd have builds that are built to farm lab. You'd have all these different kind of specializations and stuff. And the issue is right now is arena is only one of those specializations. Now, why do I say that? Well, arena is an infinitely scaling system. So the only way to beat an infinitely scaling system is to have something that scales favorably, right? And not every single skill in the game will ever scale favorably, right? Like, for instance, there are some underperformers like Ice Barrage that will never scale enough to make it in arena, right? But skills like, for instance, shit, I'm trying to think. Mage kind of got nerf-a-doodled this patch. Shit. What's the other skill that's good? Shit, what am I thinking? Meteor. Meteor is good enough because the scaling is good enough to reach to high enough level. Same with Ellie Nova, right? But like, for instance, all the builds that are good at arena, like all the ZDPS paladins and stuff right now, right? Specifically, well, all those builds are absolute fucking garbage when it comes to like farming monolith. But the thing is since we all only care about arena, right? And we don't care about how fast you can clear a monolith, like a level 100 monolith or whatever, right? But since we don't care about that, our perception of what is good is kind of skewed, right? Does that make any sense? It's not arena that needs to be changed. It's kind of like we need more game modes, obviously, before we can start kind of fine-tuning arena, because we're kind of, like I said, we're kind of acting like as if it's the only thing, and in the end, it's not supposed to be the only thing, right? It's supposed to be way more than just arena, right? Like, the main system is sure in the game, like monoliths are in the game, right? If you subject anything to infinity, it kind of like, because nothing lasts infinity, because infinity is forever, right? So eventually things kind of like break down, like even time breaks down at infinite like speed or whatever, right? So to say that an infinitely scaling system is balanced is just papega. Now, if it scaled like it did before, where it was really slow, it wasn't as impactful. Like, you get to like scaling to like 1,000, right? But now, since the scaling happens so fast and so furious now, that's a lot more noticeable, right? Beastmaster's like best quality is how much ridiculous amounts of single target it has. Like, Beastmaster by far has one of the highest amounts of single target in the entire game by far. Like insane, right? Like, it beats almost everything, especially before the nerf to poison. But now you just go bleed and it's almost just as strong. Like I said, the issue is like I said, the fact that it just does not have a job right now. There are no difficult bosses in the game right now. You can kill the Emperor of Souls on a ZDPS build. You can kill all the bosses on ZDPS characters. There is no issue, right? And since because of the way Monolith works now, you are not rewarded for playing a good build because of how the new system works, where if you die, you only lose a few things. In the old system, where like before they nerfed it, like when if you died, you lost all your monolith waves or whatever, right? Then yes, it was actually good to play a good build, but right now you're not really like benefited for doing so. Like, for instance, what I would like to see, I would like to see the empowered monoliths be like the old monoliths in power level, where you couldn't like when you died, right? You would be set back to 0, right? I think that could be the place where the hard content is, right? You know how like in PoE where you like shape your atlas and stuff in the old version, and now you just do conqueror farming and all that. Like we need conquerors, like we do have the bosses, but killing them over and over again, they don't drop good loot. All they do is they drop what is it called? All they do is drop like give you the uniques, right? And then they give you the what is it called? The fucking blessing. But if you have your blessings, then you have no reason to keep farming it, right? And right now, obviously, there's no rare stuff that you want to get either, right? Like there's nothing that you can't just farm for in Monolith or whatever, right? Like it's not that hard to find most things you're looking for, except for really rare affixes. But most builds don't utilize those rare affixes, so there's no incentive to farm them, right? And since the only thing that is worth farming for are the blessings, right? And even then, you can play a build without blessings, you know? I play multiple builds without blessings, you know? You don't need blessings. Are they good? Yes, they're very strong, but do you need blessings? No, you don't. But they're nice. You want them. They're obviously really strong, right? But you don't need them. And that's like the thing. Is there's not enough things that we need. And especially with the nerf to like, well, the change of glancing blow, there's not as much gear tax other than res. And even then, if you're playing the right build, gear like res isn't even a gear tax when it comes to paladin, right? So it's like, I don't know. That's kind of my opinion on that. Current crafting system, the additions to the critical success thing kind of fixed the old version of the crafting system. You no longer only have a negative response for engaging with the crafting system, because that was the biggest issue before with the crafting system, was the fact of how negatively affect, like how much negatives you would feel by doing it. Like all you do is fracture, right? There was never anything like, oh yeah, other than getting, you know, obviously the perfect item for your build and all that, but everything else wasn't really much of an achievement, right? But getting like a critical success on an item and making it amazing and all that, right? That's amazing. The biggest issue I have with the crafting system right now is the fact that we don't have that much variety when it comes to like shards and stuff, and that'll come with time. Like for instance, like the most interesting shards have been the class specific shards, but even then those aren't that, like they're either not powerful enough to be interesting options, right? Or you can't get enough of them, right? The fact that you can only put it on your chest and your helmet, and since your chest gives you such strong modifiers if you stack HP on them, right? It makes it really hard to like justify putting something like that on your chest, you know what I mean? When you could just, you know, run something else, right? So it's kind of one of those situations where it's like, is it even worth doing, right? But yeah, like I'm very unsure. Like I love the crafting system. It just needs more depth, and that's all it needs. But the thing is like depth will come with time. Like for instance, there was a time when, for instance, Path of Exile was not complicated like at fucking all, right? So it just comes with time, right? We just gotta wait a little bit. Like I think that jewel socket system with the rune words would completely change the face of crafting, because it's not only you need to get a good item, you need to get a good item with jewel sockets, right? And if they add the rune word system as well, right? If they add like a kind of rune word system, then it's even more insane, right? Because you can like kind of mix, min-mix and stuff like that, right?